All right, guys. I understand that you see how this is basically 1/8 of an inch. You know, this product's good for 1/16 of an inch, right on up to 1/2 inch of grout joint. One thing that's important, guys, that I used not to do when I was setting tile full time was, we call it collapsing the ridges. There's a lot of, time is so important. Everybody's so fast. If there's anything you can do to help secure your success of the installation, is to put that baby down in that far joint like that and push down and pull those trowel ridges down. That helps more than anything. And you think coming in with a rubber hammer, that just doesn't flatten them as well as putting it down and just giving it about 1/8 of an inch push, 1/4 inch or something like that. All right. Whew. I get out of breath talking so much here. Everybody following along though? I mean, this is really stuff that I'm sure you guys do every day. It's certainly something that, as a norm, we want to let it slake for about 3 minutes, not like 5 to 8 minutes like we normally would. So I'm going to go ahead and give it another whirl, just to make sure I'm show you guys that we're sensitive to doing it the right way. I got some of my Thinset in there, guys, so you might see some white stuff in there now. But time is so important this morning. All right. Now, unfortunately, because I just put this tile down, it's going to move a little bit, but you'll see real quickly how this grout will begin to set up, and it'll kind of hold the tile. Very, very quickly. This is actually one of our more popular colors right here. It's called Mist. There's a lot of, how that Carrera marble look is real popular these days. You'll see that it's kind of tacky, but then again, if you've got a big job, you can take a big 4 or 5 foot, spread with the stuff. It's got that much maneuverability about it. But then, if you're doing a wall, you've got a grout that's not going to fall on the floor, and again, walk around in it. And this, my friend, gives all new meaning to March Madness, right? Trying to get these little edges here. So now, a while ago we talked about unsanded or sanded. I know you're aware of it. I'm just going to go over the sensitivities of that conversation. As a norm, any grout joint that's at a 1/16 of an inch joint, most of the time in the past, it's always been, you would certainly know that you needed to use an unsanded grout joint. An unsanded grout. All right. This product will fit into a 1/16 of an inch grout joint. You follow me? It will fit into it. Is it the right product to go into a 1/16 inch joint? It all depends on what you're using. If you're doing a little backsplash and it's a high gloss, like a white subway tiles, those things are very popular these days. I mean, I'd appreciate the fact that you're using power grout, but is it the right grout for it? I think aesthetically you're going to probably want to stick with an unsanded grout joint. Just because it just looks better. It looks more delicate. The tile is delicate. It's a high gloss. So just keep that in mind. This is a sanded grout. It can scratch glass if the glass is real soft. So just be peculiar, about what you're doing. Be sensitive to the fact that that you're still dealing with a sanded grout. Categorically, this product, the other competitive products like Permacolor and what's some of the other ones? Pardon?
Mopay?
Yeah, the what's Mopay's version? It's called Flex Color or something like that. I forget. Anyway, they are still sanded grouts. The sand is much more fine, which that's what allows it to go into a smaller grout joint. You follow? So anyway, so that's anytime you're dealing with a high gloss tile, you would probably want to stick with that. Stick with the regular unsanded. And of course, yes, TEG does have sanded and unsanded grouts, just as normal. It's called AccuColor. I don't know what your stocking profile is just yet. It looks like you have a lot of power grout type grouts in here, which is currently the Lattice Creek Permacolor. So with that in mind, you may or may not really see the other, what I call the sanded and the unsanded grouts, AccuColor. Yes, it's still kind of moving around a bit because it was just, so I want to just kind of let it firm up, but that's it in a nutshell. Again, it's an extremely hard grout joint. You'll really be given a better product. Again, you can't argue against 10,000 PSI compression strength. That's concrete's what, 3,500? Self-levelers are 6,500. And now you got this product which is 10,000. That's crazy. So there have been some recent improvements to the product. This is an efflorescence free grout, which that's was really what most people have called the biggest problem with grouts in general for the last 20 years. If there was any problem with the grout, no matter if it, whatever coloring problem it was, whether it was job site related or whether it was manufacturing related, everybody said, oh well, it's efflorescence. Everybody calls it efflorescence, and they beat that word up so bad. At the end of the day, it was nothing more than, for us as a manufacturer, you got to understand, we can buy our raw materials from the same supply source, the same whatever, the same person, the same supplier, but when it comes to Portland cement, for some reason, Portland cement, it can be the same source, but it just reacts differently. So the types of cements that are in power grout, there's no Portland involved there. You follow me? There's a different type of cement. So it's still a cementitious grout, but it's a different type of cement, which means that's what allows us to claim that it's efflorescence free. Efflorescence is nothing but a natural byproduct of Portland and moisture or water. Okay. So with this product being a Portland-free product, then you don't have that you don't have the ability for it to effloresce. Again, the biggest proponent, and categorically, I think you guys are already sold on it because you're already using this category of grout. But grout, for some reason, we are held to high standards as a manufacturer, and you guys as a service provider. When it comes to grout, it better be the right color, it better be the right texture, and it better be almost stain-proof. Okay, and with this product, you have that ability to make that claim. Okay, so I'm just going to keep pulling this off a little bit. The more I pull, as with any wet grout, all you're doing is really pulling the grout out of the grout joint. So, we're pretty much wrapping it up here. So in summary, I just wanted to share with you, again, my purpose today was just to introduce the basic products, the more frequently used, or what should be the more frequently used products, which is the Sturdy Flex. That's your multi-purpose Thinset. You'll be using it day in and day out on normal tile jobs. I will be sharing this with you. We have another product called Permaflex 300 LHT. That is actually quickly taken over as becoming the standard mortar these days. So I will probably be talking about to your management about this. What LHT is everybody probably has heard the industry talk about these large heavy tiles lately. There's probably some of you may have even heard about how the phrase medium bed has kind of they don't want you to say it's a medium bed mortar because again, like I said earlier, I'm such an industry advocate that when, medium bed is actually an application type. It's a technique type, as opposed to thin bed, thick bed, well, the medium bed, that's kind of how this, that's where that name came from many years ago. So about 3 years ago, the industry got together and said, wait a minute, these large, heavy tiles are taking on a new mind of their own. I guarantee you that you probably, 75% of the tile jobs you send out a year are 12 by 24s or 12 by, a large, heavy tile. Can anybody tell me how big one side of that tile has to be before it's considered to be a large, heavy tile?
15 inches.
Very good, 15 inches. And that means, so in other words, you've got these other tiles that are real popular nowadays, the 6 by, these wood lookalikes. It may be 6 or 8 inches wide, but that sucker's 42 inches long. By design, or by theory, I should say, our industry, the TCNA handbook as well as the NTCA, we want you to use a large, heavy tile mortar, okay? Which, basically that means that mortar needs to be strong enough while it's curing to suspend that heavy piece of tile so that it doesn't slump overnight while it's curing. You have a great guy come in and do a really good job. When he leaves, there's no lippage at all. And then he comes in the next morning, you got these little toe stumps everywhere. That's really just the nature of a normal multi-purpose grout joint. A normal multi-purpose Thinset. It just cures. When it cures, it curls. It shrinks a little bit. So that's what LHT mortar, any large heavy tile mortar does. So you're going to definitely probably be hearing about that. Categorically, price point, you're really talking about the same, same type price point as this. So just know that when you have these large heavy tiles, that you really are supposed to have a large heavy tile mortar. But that discussion is still in process as far as corporately for Coleman. Okay? So anyway, I've said a lot. I've talked myself thirsty. So are you guys understanding, kind of what's going on? The corporate commitment that Coleman has with Tech now. Tech has a full line of everything. Floor mud, levelers, feather edge patches, the niches, the preformed niches, the seats, the shower pan material, Composil shower pan liner. All of these products are available through our Tech distributor. Okay, just so you know, currently your primary Tech distributor is, these are the ones that we partner with to come here, is the J.J. Haynes company. It is available, Tech is available over at Mosaic Tile. It's available at Bird Tile. It's available, it's not available at Imser, but it could be. They can purchase it. So just kind of sharing these bits of information with you. All right?
How fast